instantly everything goes quiet.
Hi, hello Twitch.
So we had a proposed topic about what our favorite and least favorite parts about teching were.
I say we all
Probably
start
limited.
off with most favorite, and then Fidel, I vote you start.
Oh, great. Well, first of all,
No pressure.
while we get into most favorite, we need to limit downsides because that will literally take 5 days to talk about. So,
Yep.
as far as good things, it gives me something to do. It's a hobby for me. I just fool around with stuff. I don't go for super high performance. I just like working with my hands. So, getting down in the workshop and being able to mess with stuff that's mechanical is an interest for me. So, just kind of gives me something to do.
You took mine. I mean, literally, I was gonna be like, you know what? Well, for me, it's a little bit different because before I didn't really have. Well, before I airsofted, and that's all I did. And then I went to school, so I airsofted and I schooled. Then I got out of school and I got a job, so I airsofted and I jobbed. So
You
right now,
airsofted in
airsoft.
your job.
Yes, that's proper English. Don't mind it. Airsofted and jobbed.
Who's next? Don't all volunteer at once.
Uh, um, I don't know, I mean, I guess the other part I really enjoy about it, other than just doing something to do, is I feel like I'm actually doing something. I can be
Productive.
like, hey, look at this! I made this thing go brah, and everybody thinks I'm cool.
What was
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, that's like at least a quarter of the reason I tech is so I can do that and go have people go, wow, you're really good at this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I am. I totally just sound like a douche
What was
now.
the question?
Just a little bit.
What do you like most about teching?
Oh, that. I thought this was why did you start teching? I thought you guys were saying, but okay.
Oh.
Never heard that question proposed, so
I like
we
the
might
puzzle
put that-
challenge. I'll give a different answer. I like the puzzle challenge. Does anybody know what I mean by that?
sort of.
Like, I like
Somewhat.
to find things that are very difficult so I can solve it and then say, hey, now I know how to do this.
Like a
Let me
Rubik's.
find the most asinine of problems and deal with them
Exactly. Yeah, I like to know as much as you can. I kind of have a general view, like know everything as broad as possible, but then after that, just take on certain topics of the gearbox and try to get really. I'm trying to think of a good word. Try to understand the depth of certain parts. I mean, you can't go over like every single part and be good with all parts as if you went with one part. Like if you only practice making pistons and knowing how they move and everything, you could get
Oh,
really
you're
good.
talking about literally custom making parts.
Yeah, I'm talking about custom.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I just need to feel a little better so I can kind of say what I need to. And then what do you hate most?
Have we gotten there yet? I don't think Milson's gone yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to say what I hate most is when teching, I would say I would hate most is when you're out of BBs. Because then it's like, oh crap, I'm going to go test this. And then you're like, I don't have BBs to test this now.
Well, now I can sit around and dry fire this and see how nice it sounds without BBs.
Yeah, or the other thing that I hate the most is when you find out that just about every single part you're installing has to be meshing correctly. You have to pull out the Dremel and start Dremeling every single part to make, like, people I think say it's a Frankenstein gearbox or something. Like all the parts are from a different company and then they all don't fit in the gearbox. Like you start to put the trigger shuttle in there. Oh, the trigger shuttle doesn't even fit. You got to go take it and modify it. The trigger doesn't fit. You got to go modify the trigger. What other examples? Piston doesn't fit. You got to modify part of the rails or something.
Yeah, that's always fun when having to grind down the piston rails.
It's funny because I actually enjoy some of the most, or what I enjoy some of the most in teching is messing around with Dremel, doing anything with the Dremel, honestly. Kind of fun.
Yeah, but what about doing every single part in the gearbox? Is it fun then?
That's why I find the people that like I went in, I spent 2 hours, and I polished everything. I'm just like, why? Why do you have that much?
That's,
Why do you have that many Dremel wheels? Why?
that's a lot of time.
Yeah, like seriously.
I don't polish everything anymore, just the parts that I want to look shiny.
I don't polish anything, anytime.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I take that back. Sometimes I'll like get a rag and like clean my cylinder. That's about it.
Well, you actually should polish your cylinder. Like,
That's different,
It's-
though.
That's some seriously diminishing returns unless you just have like a terribly filthy cylinder.
Well,
I
really,
mean,
it probably doesn't help as much as you would think, but it is going to affect consistency, even in the smallest amount.
I mean, if you have like a terrible brass cylinder, yeah, go ahead polish it. But if you have like a new steel cylinder, there's really no reason to.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm talking about brass cylinders.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead polish the crap out of it then. If you have an aluminum cylinder, then yeah, I feel sorry for you.
aluminum cylinders are fun.
Yeah, I ran an aluminum cylinder in my DSG once, and it was blue, and the blue paint wore off from the inside from the heat buildup.
Sounds like a G&G cylinder.
No,
Yeah.
I think it was a classic Army.
Hmm.
Very interesting build that was.
Okay, so who needs to go next now?
I think that was all of us. I once again nominate Infidel to go first with what do you hate about teching?
Yeah, okay.
Actually, no, hon. I'll lead off with one word. Everything.
Everything.
All right, your turn,
The
Infidel.
all-encompassing word.
Yes.
The thing I most hate about teching, basically everything Chinese. So,
You racist?
Gosh dang it.
so basically, I very quickly got tired of messing with JG gearboxes and JG gears and their pistons and their crappy contacts, and I just started buying G&P stuff to make myself feel better, and it actually worked.
Because like Taiwan is just massively different from China.
Oh, it is though.
It actually is.
Yeah. I get the whole political boundaries of it. It's just kind of funny because they're sitting like 100 miles from each other.
But on a serious note, yes, I have for the most part gotten rid of most of my clone type stuff. Like just the straight up JG, Echo 1, SEMA, all that type stuff, and I've started buying up cheaper, higher end stuff just because I'm tired of dealing with the lower end always failing, always having fitment problems, always having this or that. I mean, I would like for once, which I've accomplished now, but for once to open up a brand new gun that's stock, be able to look at a couple things, and then put it back together and not deal with it again.
Well, there you get always into the issue of, well, it works, but it doesn't perform. Because like stuff can work, but not perform. That's mostly why I could say I tech on stuff. Yeah, it may work, but
Yeah.
does it perform? Are you
So, like,
proud?
one example is that I had my DSG, and Zach knows about this. I had my DSG in a SEMA MP5K for a long time, and I just got tired of messing with that thing because nothing fit right. I got my shimming right the first time, but nothing else worked that well. So I went and splurged and got myself a GNP receiver set, and all those parts dropped right in. Shimming was perfect again the first try. Everything just dropped straight in. It performed exactly like it was supposed to. And I paid a little bit more upfront for the body, but just everything about it was exactly like I wanted it. And I didn't have to nitpick. I didn't have to paint anything. It was so nice just to get something, drop it in, put it back together, and have it exactly like I wanted it.
And that's like the only time that's happened in your entire career, right?
Well, I mean, since then I've done it a couple more times, but up until
What?
now, like every one of like the 10 guns I owned had something that I strongly disliked about it that I couldn't fix without buying something like completely different or new. So, I mean, I guess that's my thing. It's just the variability of pretty much everything on the market. You just kind of have to pick your battles, and I've picked mine. I'd much rather save up a little bit more and get something nicer on the front end than deal with all the problems again and again and again.
This kind of goes back to what I was saying about knowing all the parts and custom making parts, because then if you look at your piston, you go, hey, that looks a little too long. or hey, that looks a little too short, and you know right away that there's going to be a problem with the mesh. So
Yeah.
you
I
want-
also have a problem with laziness, so I probably would never make my own parts. So I just kind of try to pick the ones that I know will fit.
Oh well, laziness and tech don't go together.
But see, I do both.
He is the exception to the rule.
I hope so. I mean, I don't. If I was lazy, I don't know, man. I would not be able to do a lot of stuff that I did in the past.
Well, I mean, I say that kind of sarcastically. I'm lazy
Probably.
to the point where I will not 3D print anything. That's just too much work.
Okay,
for me.
so you
what
mean-
I will do is
you
I'll
mean-
take a piston rack out and short stroke if I need to.
Yeah, you mean something different. When you say lazy, I'm thinking of full-blown lazy. Like, I don't need to do this. I don't need
I don't
to do
need to do
that.
AOE. Shimming's overrated.
Yeah, screw the shimming. I know it's a little
This is
tight.
our what-
It makes it. Look at the gearbox shell. It's getting some black grime from those gears screeching on the shell. Who cares? It's all good as long as
Real,
they,
though.
as long
I
as they
check my
still
shit job,
move.
The black grease. If there's black grease, I know which one to mess with next.
Oh my gosh.
I usually get it right, but if I don't, then I know exactly where the problem is because I put copious amounts of grease for the first shim run.
Yeah, I don't like to use a lot of grease.
I used to be really bad about grease. Like literally before I knew better, I'd take like a giant, like you know, if you dig into the peanut butter jar, like you dig your whole finger in there and just like you get the whole thing in there. That's how I was with each gear. Before I was like, wait a minute, there's so much grease coming off these wheels or these gears, and there's still so much on. This is a little bit overkill.
When it starts to sling off and stick to the sides of the shell, you have too much.
Yeah. And then like it's all slung off, and there's still like just globs of it stuck to the gears. It's like, maybe I should back off a little bit. I still
well,
probably
to stay-
still overgrease things.
To stay on topic, I guess the thing I'd hate about teching is everything, like, basically in general. So, on to the next person.
I guess I'll go. I'd say the number one thing that really ticks me off about teching is part incompatibility. Trigger mech issues, hop up issues, feeding issues. Those are like the areas where if something's wrong in there, I will literally throw whatever it is against the wall in frustration just because it's so annoying to deal with. And then adding on to that, if it's not even your guns, you can't physically throw it against the wall without making somebody else very angry and shelling out a whole lot of money. And if you're working on a customer's gun, that's even worse. That's actually one of the reasons right now I've stopped accepting paid jobs, at least for a while, just because I've hit, with the last 2 builds I've done, I've hit issues in like the feeding, compression kind of stuff in the hop up. That's just driven me up a wall, and I couldn't take it. It's like, screw this. I got them finally finished and sent them back. It's like, I'm done for a little bit.
Well, there we go.
I would say my most disliked thing about teching is probably feeding issues. Because, well, for one thing, that's what I'm currently dealing with, so that's easy to say. Another, it's awful because you can hear the gearbox, you can hear the nice shimming, you can hear its cyclic rate, and how everything is functioning nice and smooth, and
You get 0 results.
and then nothing happens. Sit there and get
Zero.
to hear your beautifully tuned gearbox doing absolutely zilch because of something with the nozzle on the hop up. So.
Yep.
0 results. That's funny. So you think you checked everything, you're out in the field, you know it's going to work, you pull that trigger and the damn thing don't feed. Everything else
Yeah.
works fine.
Well, not that. I've never actually had a gun fail in the field.
Oh,
Well,
you're
okay.
lucky. You are
First
so
time
lucky then.
The first time I tried to tech, I had a gun fail in the field because all I did was buy matrix parts off e-bike, and I just threw a new gear set and a new piston and a new cylinder head in there and didn't shim it or anything. I kept the stock shimming and didn't correct AOE, and I think it hit PME because I also threw in a new motor. I'm not exactly sure. The back of the piston blew out within like 15 rounds. So that was the first time I ever opened up a gun and actually changed something, and that was what happened. So
Excellent results.
yes.
Yeah, you're very lucky if that's the only time you've had a gun fail on you in the field.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's usually what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
For most people?
Well, for For me, if the gun is gonna fail, it's gonna fail one of two times, or actually, I guess one of three times. One at the chrono station when when they're testing. Two, whenever I'm like, yeah, I have a really good gun. Listen to this, and it goes, whir, whir, like crap. Or three, after you've hiked like a mile and you finally got to the objective, and then whistle blows, and you're like, all right, let's go. And you see a guy, and you pull the trigger, and click, click, click. You're like, ah, my battery. Nope. Click, click. Motor connectors. Click, click. Dang it. Either pull out the sidearm or walk all the way back to the car for the backup.
I was gonna say that's one of the things I like about my MP5K. Absolutely no space there's no space requirements for it. I can just throw it in the back of my car and have a backup gun.
I mean, having backup guns is not an issue, but I don't carry 3 backup guns on me on the field. I keep them at the car.
Well, yeah, the field I play on
is
is
field. That can be anywhere from 100 feet to a mile walk.
A mile walk?
I kid you not.
Why? Did you go somewhere that had like so many people you had to park a mile away?
No, that's just how my field is. It's a big field. If you go the farthest point from the parking lot, it's probably a mile's, well, maybe I exaggerate a little bit. Maybe it's like half a mile to 3/4 mile walk back. Uphill both ways. Of course.
You add up. Always add something extra to it.
Oh, of course. In the mud and snow and pouring rain. Yeah.
Actually, a mile walk isn't too out of the question. I mean, most of the outdoor fields around here, depending on which corner you're in, it could be almost 3 miles back to the parking lot.
Wow.
Anyway, does anybody else have anything to add before we just totally derail this topic?
No, we haven't derailed it yet.
Yeah,
Doing
don't
pretty good.
jinx us.
I'm still not a huge fan of soldering in general. I mean, it's a whole lot easier now that I actually know what I'm doing, but I still don't really enjoy doing it.
I don't enjoy doing it. I somehow I don't feel like I really know what I'm doing still, but it's working, so I don't question it.
I mean, I now get clean solders now that I have a proper tool and I know to use flux and just how to handle the wires and use the third hand and all that mess. But it still is something, oh boy, I'm plugging up the soldering gun and waiting for it to heat up.
Yeah, that's actually the part that annoys me the most is waiting for it to heat.
Nose for 2 weeks.
I think the one thing I really kind of grit my teeth about is right when you have to do a whole new wires throughout the entire gun. Like you have to cut the lengths just perfect that you want. Some people, they just over length it or whatever, they don't care. But like after doing it so many times, now I just I don't grit my teeth anymore. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do it. But I remember when I started doing it, I hated it. Like, damn, I have to put these wires in through the gearbox, figure out what length I want, where it goes to the battery.
Yeah, I'm particularly bad about that myself because I'm very perfectionist oriented, and so I have to stop myself from measuring out using a caliper, trying to find out how much distance of wire I need. I typically just cut, I take, okay, I think this is going to be long enough, and then I add an extra 6 inches. And cut it.
I'll kind of rough it off what I need, then add 2 inches tops. But calipers is a little bit extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought of
So
another
to
one
avoid
that,
doing that, I just do that and ballpark it, and it works.
When I'm adding Deans to a gun or a battery and cut both wires, not at the same time, mind you, I'm not that stupid, but cut both wires the same length, solder the connector, and somehow one is longer than the other, and the connector's thrown off to one side.
Yeah.
That's annoying beyond all belief.
Yeah.
I actually did cut both wires at the same time the other day when I was talking to Brady. When we stayed up till 2 a.m., it was hitting 1 a.m., and I was rewiring my giant 11-1 LiPo. And, I took my pliers and, while talking to him, cut both of them at the same time and got reminded why you don't do that. Thankfully, they have rubber grips.
We lost
Somebody.
Wingman.
He'll come back, I think.
Is he calling? What? Why is he calling us?
Whoever he's calling, just call him.
He's calling me. I don't think he knows how to get back into it.
He was calling me too.
Well, if he sees the group, he should be able to just hit the little camera and get back in here.
I'm gonna invite him.
Yeah, can somebody invite him real quick?
I just did. Gosh dang it. Now our phones are going off.
Okay, so proposed idea for next topic. Most interesting / most annoying gun failure. Pick one. Whether it's in the field or on the bench, doesn't matter.
I always hated when I check the gun, everything on the gearbox is working fine. I cycle it, and then I take it to the field and I assemble the body, and somehow, whatever is not noticed, there's BBs stuck in the hop-up chamber already because of a previous user, and so the gun blows right then and there. There's pre-engagement. Like, I just got everything done, I start to assemble it at the field, and then, so now I've gotten to, like, the first thing I do is make sure there's nothing in the hop-up chamber whatsoever, because you have to rely on what you see and not what someone told you. It's empty. Okay, you assume that, and it may not be empty.
Sorry, somehow I got like kicked or something, and then I couldn't figure out how to get back in. Because I can't figure out this Google layout.
There was a vote on the screen, and there was 3 votes that said kick Philip.
Well, screw you guys too.
Wait, I didn't see that?
That's because I was the one that voted, and I got 3 votes, so I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I figured that.
So really I've only had one gun failure on the field, I would say. And it was a crappy, I think it was a JG AK-47. And I just put it back together and was using it as a backup. And while I was in the field shooting at other people, it started grinding on me a little bit. And I was like, oh great, one of the gears or the piston is going. And it just kind of kept getting worse and worse, and naturally I kept pulling the trigger. So eventually it just stopped. So I put it down and used something else. I got back to the house assuming I'd stripped a gear, and one of the plastic bushings had actually cracked in half. And the bevel gear had just slid out of place.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I pulled it apart expecting the worst, and it was like, oh, one of these piece of crap parts I was going to replace anyway just snapped in half. That's nice.
It always feels good when you open up a gearbox and you only see one part broken. You've replaced that and you're happy.
Significantly less worse than you thought it was going to be.
Just to catch me up, we're talking about guns breaking on the field?
We're talking about a specific failure or a specific event where you had a gun fail. Doesn't matter where.
Well, once I no, I actually never mind. I don't want to go into that one.
Why, was it on fire?
It was almost. Literally, the MOSFET was smoking. Well, okay, what happened is, I guess I will talk about it now. This is like some 37 RPS DSG, or not DSG, single SSG I built. This is like my first real build. And it was like the third body it had gone into. So I'm like, yeah, 40 RPS, I'm tearing up the field. Everybody's like, whoa! It's a single sector, the barrel's tiny, it's overvolumed as heck, it sounds terrifying. So like, using it before lunch break, no problem. But go into lunch break, I plug it in after lunch break, I pull the trigger, and I later find out the piston or the sorbo would come out, plugged up the cylinder head, so yeah, compression jam, the gears all jammed. But I didn't really figure out what happened. So like, I'm on semi, I was like, kind of like a popping sound or a grinding sound at the same time. Like, what's going on here? It's like, well, maybe it'll solve itself if I flip up to full auto. Because like, that's how you fix everything, right?
Just grind it out. Grind it out.
I was like, and then it went dead silent, and then the MOSFET started smoking. So it's like, oh, I yanked the wires apart and like throw it away for a second. And everything smells terrible. I'm like, well, under the backup gun. Yeah, that was one of those, why did I do that moments.
Yeah. Usually if it doesn't sound good in semi, it doesn't sound better in full auto.
I know the result for that was I completely toasted the MOSFET. I kind of think I stripped a gear and a piston in that as well. I forget the extent of the damage.
I cannot find out how to use this drawing app, I swear.
Well, I can only use it on Zach because he's the only one that has like a picture or a face on it. But it's over on the left. It's a little pencil with a mustache you click on, and
No.
then it shows up on the right, and then you have to switch it from the person to the little screen, and then you can draw away.
Yeah, the only thing I see on the screen is a little black dot by my hand.
I think that's actually on your camera.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's artifacting like it's on your camera.
Yeah,
It's, I don't know. Let me see if I switch between me if I see it there.
yeah, because I see it as well. I think it's on your camera. I didn't draw it there because like next to that dot, there's what a draw thing looks like.
Because the drawing is going to be more clear than the actual camera is.
Let's see if I can figure out where it is.
Oh no, I can't. I can't actually draw.
I don't think it's on the camera.
It's probably so tiny on the camera you can't even see it.
No, I just.
Or maybe it's on the inside of the lens somehow.
Okay. Let's just say something else then. Once I get inside the lens, it's down inside the pre-recorded code.
It's inside the processor.
It's in the code. It's on your computer displaying to everybody.
I had one time. It was a.
No,
I think
it can't be true because I remember I was Skyping with other people and there was no damn dot on the screen. This is the only place I have seen a dot, and I don't know why.
Well, it won't even let me draw on your picture, so I'm assuming that that's actually something else.
Maybe I'm the only person that's allowed to draw on anything.
Maybe I don't have it enabled or something.
I could almost swear that the dot changes a little bit, like a pixel.
This must just be riveting audio right now.
Yeah.
I was trying to sit here and use the silly Google Hangouts drawing function.
Yeah, just draw.
I feel
over
like
the
all
dot.
these Google Hangouts things have so much potential, but are so poorly implemented.
Yeah, see, look at that. The dot. If you're looking at my camera, the dot gets a little darker and then a little less dark. I know I'm not going crazy.
I can't even see a dot, so I mean.
Oh, that's frustrating. Just gonna ignore it.
But
You're not going to be able to now.
Yeah, now it's gonna annoy you, and it's totally going in the note.
You're looking at it, yeah.
No, I just click on someone else's profile,
Well,
their picture.
Zakok, the dot's still there.
Well, if you
It
keep
is
saying
still
it,
there right now.
how am I supposed to know it then?
Yeah, it won't let me draw. It'll let me try to draw, but then it disappears.
Well, I didn't disable it. I allow you guys to draw on it, but it won't. I don't know why it's not working. It says I can join you too, but when I click on it, I try to click draw and nothing happens. It's probably some kind of glitch.
Maybe I have to enable it on myself or something.
I don't know.
Oh gosh, you're at one of the Google pages. Nope, I'm not messing with that.
Maybe you need a face.
Yeah.
Austin Bowers.
Yes. Ultimate Austin Powers.
Alright, so let's get back into the Airsoft Tekken.
Tekken 3.
No, we're not talking about Tekken.
I'm kind of the same subject as before. It was in my primary M4. I had a Sorbo come undone from the cylinder head and stick itself to the piston head.
Tuh. I've had, even when you put what's the cover on the Sorbo?
Neoprene.
The neoprene. Even when you do that, sometimes I would still see the thicker the Sorbo is, the center of it can still come out and go into the gearbox. Like still get into the air nozzle and the hop-up chamber and into the cylinder. I've still seen that happen. So I've kind of just tended to get away from Sorbothane.
Just use faucet washers now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people switched over to faucet washers. I wish they would have told me that before I bought 1 square foot of Sorbothane.
Well, to be honest, it's kind of gimmicky. There's some like validity to it, but a lot of people just listen to the hearsay and like, oh, this must be doing it.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I could still make shoe soles out of it.
Yeah, I personally still stick with the Sorbothane. It hasn't really failed me that I didn't screw it over first.
I think it
I've never had issues
depends.
with it either. It's just a pain to cut.
Yeah,
I
it
use
is.
scissors.
I have a
I've always
punch.
fine.
Yeah, I have a punch set. I just punch them.
Oh, like a hollow punch.
You just put all the Sorbothane pad on a block of wood, and then it's just a circular metal piece, and then it's made out of wood, has a wooden handle, and you just put it down, and then you use a hammer. And once you hit it, you can pull up, and there's the Sorbothane pad. Pretty simple.
I tried to do something similar to that with a cylinder, and I thought I was being clever. I took a cylinder and I sharpened, very carefully sharpened the end of the cylinder on a bench grinder, and then did not think about the fact that I was trying to use brass to punch through anything, and then tried to punch through it with that cylinder, and it just broke the edge off of it.
That might be pretty sharp and dangerous at the same time.
Like, so much for that.
Well, I did a similar thing with I think it was an inch wide copper pipe that I used pretty much until I ran out of Sorbo, and then I used a 5.56 bullet casing for the center.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna shoot
just
holes
Take a
in
drill
my.
bit and drill.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot holes
I
in my
tried
Sorbothane.
drilling it. It just, I never worked out with the drill. It didn't agree with me at all.
I mean, if you have a press, it's a little bit easier to
Yeah.
hold it while
Yeah,
you.
I use the bench vise for both. I don't have a drill press, so.
We got a drill press at the garage sale for $50,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I got
and
a,
it's like huge.
I got another question we can ask, but I'll wait till Philip gets back.
Permanently.
Yeah, what is he, the new Raven or something?
Well,
It's like
encroaching on his territory of dropping out constantly.
kind of seems like it, huh? Except he's got to get a crappier microphone first.
True. Yeah, because now we're all pretty high quality at this point.
Yeah, this one's gonna be pretty good. All right, so the question is: has anybody tried anything that normally hasn't been tried before? I kind of discussed one time. I think I said I put Sorbothane on a piston where the pickup tooth starts. I tried that once. It didn't really come out working because it just flop off eventually. Anybody try anything crazy like that? Just anything. Just anything.
I'm kind of scared to say it. Are we all familiar with the JG UFC handguard?
JG.
It just looks like a tube. It doesn't have rails or anything. It's just like this foot-long tube. Well, anyway, I took one of those, a hacksaw, cut it off at 45 degrees, about halfway down, and took a weird G&G outer barrel, put electrical tape on it, screwed an extension onto the electrical tape, and made myself a weird CQB front end. That literally was the ugliest thing I've ever seen, but it worked for a bit.
Hey, if it works.
Yeah, but it was terrible. Like, never do that. Never.
Let's see. So, externally, obviously, the Rhino Lining thing, I never heard of anyone doing that before, and I just came up with it, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Internally, the first gun I really tried to work on, which is my combat machine, which is, fast forward like a year, and I have a GMP gearbox in there, and try to do something. And let's see. So before I sent it to Zardachar, I tried to do it myself, and it locked up. And then I just said, screw it. I'm tired of dealing with this junk. I got other stuff to worry about right now, and I sent it to him. And just that's been my durability build since then. But I thought to take the pad of Sorbothane, and instead of using like a neoprene piece on it or faucet washer, I took some of the rubber tool grip that you can use to make grips on hand tools, and dipped the Sorbothane in that with a string going through the middle to keep the hole there, and let that dry. And so it kind of toughened the outside of the Sorbothane pad without having to glue something to it.
How did that work out for you?
I don't know. I think Zard pulled it out whenever he worked on it, so I actually couldn't tell you. I don't remember what's inside of it. I did have. That's another interesting thing is I did have to open the gearbox after I got it back from him because it wasn't working right, and all I did was open up the gearbox, and it gave me a chance to actually look at how good his work was, which was amazing, and then close it, and it worked. So we still don't really know what happened there. It was one of those situations where it was functioning fine when he shipped it to me, and then when I got it, it just wasn't working right. And then I took everything apart and put it all back together and changed nothing, and it worked perfectly since then. So.
Well, sometimes reseating stuff allows it to work again because it might have came out of place, or maybe a spring kind of came loose, or it's upside down, not in there correctly. There's something I don't know if people might notice or not notice is the springs to like the tappet plate and the trolley. Sometimes if you don't put them in the right way, they actually can hit things as they're moving back and forth. Like you can see the tappet plate as it's moving back and forth, it can be roughing against that trolley spring. And I watch on like YouTube from time to time, I see people put the springs in, but they put them in backwards, and they don't realize that they are putting them in there backwards, and that can cause a problem down the line.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's working fine now. But yeah, I don't remember. I didn't think to check to see if he left that in there or not. I thought it was a pretty decent idea. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is it shreds off that rubber instead. But honestly, the grip rubber on your tools is fairly tough stuff. So I'd be surprised if it could just shred it away.
I think I was going to try putting a metal washer on Sorbo one time, but I never tested it. And have like a metal piston head just to see what it sounds like.
Oh gosh.
I thought about doing it. I think somebody else might have tried it, but they said it was just, I don't know.
Clank, 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 clank.
Yeah, I don't know how well that would go.
Like, congratulations, you have made a vending machine.
A vending machine.
But think about what that would sound like at really high RPS. Clank. Sounds like a great.
I have a feeling it's a bad. Yeah, say it's like at high RPS. It probably sounds like that for about half a second.
Maybe if you put like really thin Sorbo and then a really thin metal washer to still get some shock absorption. I don't know. I still feel like something would break there. It's metal and metal.
You probably have a lot of buildup of grease. I bet you, black grease after touching that metal touching on metal so much.
Yeah, probably any paint on the piston head would wear off.
Yeah, and what about heat? You think it would start building up some heat, right?
I don't know.
And how much heat can Sorbothane stand?
I don't really think it would build up as much in the piston head. I mean, it's just that it's not a sliding, grinding, friction kind of impact. It's just an instant hammer blow and that's gone. I mean, more heat's going to build up in your cylinder and maybe your gearbox rails if it's tight.
What if your piston head cracks, your metal piston head cracks, and then you're in trouble?
Oh yeah, then all sorts of bad things happen.
I'm assuming your metal piston head cracking can lead to problems in anything.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the first thing I could see going wrong right there.
I've actually opened up gearboxes before and found the
phone's ringing again. Give me a second.
Plastic all broken in there from the piston head before. Go all the way into the hop-up chamber even. Find little pieces of it. Where's the other Zach? He take off?
He dropped. I don't know what happened.
There's too many of us anyways.
Yeah, this has been one of the smaller groups. I'm not sure if it just because Raven wasn't here to hype things or what.
It just depends.
And also I have no idea why I dropped twice. So, well, I know you kicked me the first time, but
no, that didn't really happen.
No, I know that didn't happen, but it went in the notes. Zachak was a mean person and kicked Wingman.
No, I mean that didn't really happen. Like with a smile, meaning it did happen, but I wanted to act like it didn't.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
Yeah. Gotta have authority sometimes, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Somehow, even though I started this chat, you're kicking everybody. I see how it is.
Yeah, you just right-click their name. Don't like person. Flag person. Says reason. I put bad teching.
Okay, I'm back.
Made me look bad.
So let's post up this CQB master as well.
So
By the way, if anyone... Go ahead. Go ahead. You're probably relevant. I'm not being relevant. So.
Okay, my thing was, is anybody else got anything else to say similar to that? Any other weird things they want to try out or they have tried, and any consequences or anything like that?
I feel like with some of the stupid stuff I've done, I should have something, but nothing comes to mind.
I mean, I've always wanted to make a vest out of tornado grenades to see what would happen, but...
Oh yes, infamous Allah Akbar vest. That would be epic beyond all proportions.
See, the tornado grenades wouldn't work, though, because they spin. So you would need to have... Like,
wait, what are the grenades that spew BBs? Like, not spin, but actually, like, spew them whenever they go off? Those the Thunder Bees? Those are just
Thunder
noise,
Bees
aren't
are
they?
sound grenades.
Yeah, they're just sound.
That dangerously stuff with BBs, yes.
Isn't there some grenade that whenever
There
it goes off,
is.
it also spews BBs?
I don't remember the name of them.
Maybe a Mad Bull grenade, I think.
I don't know. I've never used grenades. I don't know what any of these are called.
Well,
Yeah, I got 2 tornado grenades in the mail the other day.
if you're talking about a Mad Bull grenade, I know there's the kind that you hit the back of it and it spews out the propane out the front with all the BBs in it. I know about those.
I know Mad Bull makes a hand grenade as well. I just don't think they ever really shot off like the tornadoes and Thunder Bees. And there's always Enola Gaze, but they don't really shoot, or they don't shoot BBs out. So,
I thought those are smoke grenades.
dog, get out of my room. They make pea-filled grenades as well.
Pea filled? Did I
Yeah.
hear that right?
They're
That
filled
guy,
with
put your
like dried
mind
peas.
Did I really hear
Because
that right? Oh my
They're
god.
explosives, so they use peas to make sure that they stay safe.
Oh,
It's actually kinda
peas. I
smart.
thought you meant they filled it with pea. I really did. I was like, what the
That's why I said dried
Yes,
peas.
because that's what everybody loves at Airsoft matches. Get showered in that stuff.
Well, hey, man, if you don't like somebody, you could do something like that. Just hope that your piece doesn't smell like any odor, right? It's odorless. Then you get the last laugh.
I think the field would get the last laugh when they kick you.
Not if they don't know it's pee.
I think they're gonna figure that out.
Gatorade.
It's Gatorade.
Some weird tasting Gatorade.
Reminds me of like the snowball season. You just pee on the snowball and then chuck it.
I don't know this experience. I'm in Georgia.
Well, I don't know this experience either. I'm just saying it would remind me of something like that. Any other things we can talk about in the gearbox? Or anything Airsoft mech related?
I guess no one's really done any builds recently. I think we were just all talking about that.
Well, I mean, I'm still quote unquote working on my DSG FN2000, but I got the gears in, so I shimmed them. But I need a piston head and a MOSFET to wire up, and a piston head to I can do all the AOE and fun stuff like that. I mean, that's been going for like 3 weeks, so nothing to do there.
Yeah, like my P90 has been going for 2 stinking months.
Yeah.
I had to put the phone in the freezer again.
Phone in the freezer. Alright, that's an idea. We could talk about customers that harass you.
We could talk about customer experiences too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do it professionally, so...
Well, okay. I'll start this off. There are 2 or 3 kinds of customers I found. There's customers that harass you and want updates every single minute of every day. And they are the reasons that I do not give out my phone number so they can quote-unquote text me details for any reason. Number 2, there's like your normal customer that like replies when you ask them stuff and sends more money when you say you need to replace this. And then there's customer number 3, which is the best kind, which is after you've done everything, you send them all the videos, you send the gun back to them, they get it, they love it, they send you more money just because.
Let me know where you can find one of those Type 3s.
I've run into a few of them. It doesn't happen often, but it's always fun to run into them.
You ran into him while playing Airsoft? Like
No, while
ran into
teching
him?
for them. Like literally, I think maybe I've had 2 of them so far. That like I've done everything, had a few issues I've worked through. I
okay.
kept them updated all throughout.
I get this.
Got
I get
everything
the
worked
story.
out. I sent it back to them, and like they're like, "Yeah, this thing's awesome. Here's like an extra $40 just because."
No.
Like, all right, thanks.
I figured this out. You kidnapped the gun and then you said, you know what? I'm not gonna repair it unless you send me more money.
No, this is usually after they have the gun back in their possession.
Look, you have like a video of it shooting great. It's not gonna be shooting like that if you don't give me another $30.
You think it looks pretty now? I can make this sound like a combat machine if you don't give me more.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this piston out, and you're gonna have no piston in it.
You
Like,
love
you
this
send them a picture
VFC
of-
piston?
Like, you send them a picture of the battery connector with your wire cutters right on the wires.
I'll make sure to not send you a trigger shuttle and no trigger and no motor. You just get the externals, okay?
Or better yet, just leave out the trolley spring and don't tell them. First
They
time
pull it
the
once
trigger-
and it's stuck on full auto.
Dude, that would be kind of freaky. As soon as you plug the battery in and randomly shoot sometime. Can't even get
could
to
shake-
stop shooting.
You could shake it and it would start shooting.
Start smashing your gun to make it stop shooting. Okay, I better pay that $35 that he told me to. I can't
Too late
figure
now.
this problem out.
It's just downright diabolical.
Or worse, you could say you're going to paint their gun a different color. Give it some kind of rhino stripes, right?
No, paint it pink. Paint it pink. Or give it like one of Raven's paint jobs where it's all like Jamaican colors.
Hey, a new law has passed. We must paint it pink.
Yes, comply with the California law. We have to
Yeah.
put, like, drip orange here or there.
Uh,
Good Lord. That's what you do when you get somebody that has like a VFC 416. It's like, I'm gonna paint your receivers for you, free of charge.
that's
Literally,
pretty
it comes
funny.
back to the customer. There's just pink spray paint right on top of the trades and nowhere else.
Or they actually wouldn't mind that much if you put pink spray paint all over that paragraph that VFC has on that one side.
Oh gosh, yes.
That would actually be an improvement.
You know, I actually wanted a 416, and that paragraph alone has almost completely turned me off of them.
I have like a love-hate relationship with the 416s because like I kind of like the looks of them, but they're so overdone, and everybody has one, and everybody drops their Polar Star into one. After that, it's like, nah, I don't really want one.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having one for a good price.
If I got one for free, I would take it, but I don't think I'd buy
Like
one.
when Stinkin' Pierce sold his for $230 shipped, and I
Oh.
was in the message trying to get it from him quickly. Like, we were driving home from somewhere. I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat and saw him post it, and I was messaging him trying to get it from him, and I think someone else from the SWUM, or the premium, the secret room thread, bought it first.
He probably said "Swum sees first" or something like that.
That happens.
No, he
often.
posted up in the classifieds, and then he posted in SWUM. So it was open to, it was free game, but we all got a notification in that thread, and everyone always checks that. So
Well, as a general rule, SWUM is always pretty much as active as the rest of the forum combined. So,
I don't post. I mean, who am I kidding? I don't post anywhere very often, but I really don't post in SWUM very often either. Only when I need to complain or spout off some random junk.
Or I use Swum for like entertainment, seeing who I can needle to like get angry, and so I can like sit back and eat the popcorn.
Like a particular person.
Oh yeah, I think we all know who we're talking about here.
good lord.
Oh, we got somebody else in.
That would be me.
Who's this person?
Who is this person?
Walter. Who the heck is Walter?
Oh,
Let's
that's
save the game.
Oh, sweet.
I know from playing Rainbow Six with him.
Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts. It's just like popcorn.
Hey man, it's a new blue raspberry flavor. They're absolutely amazing.
Hey, small side note. After this ends, Wingman, you, me, and Save the Game need to play Insurgency. Just saying.
If that's gonna happen, it needs, well, if we end at 12, I'll play for like an hour. But past that, I really need to get to bed.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't end any earlier than an hour from now, then I can't do it. But
Yeah, I forget, what time zone are you in?
Central.
Okay, so you're an hour behind me because I'm over on the East Coast. So right now it's like 11 or 11:13. So I mean, honestly, I should be to bed
We
at
basically
12.
just said about the same times. So
Okay. So yeah, give it another 45 minutes, and I'll log off. If you guys are up for it, I'll play it for like an hour or something, and then I really need to go to bed after that.
Okay, back on topic.
Cool.
Where were
Yeah.
you
What topic?
You normally try to keep us on topic, so.
I do? Are you kidding me?
No, the other Zach. I
Oh.
call you Wing. I call him Zach.
Okay. Well, usually it's Raven that's like, hey, we have a topic. We should try and follow it. And we're all like, whatever, Raven.
Usually it's Raven talking through a topic, and then everyone forgets forgets what the topic was by the time he's finished talking about the topic. At least that's my case.
We were talking about teching stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to go hit the loo. I'll be right back.
Taking stuff in general. But I call him Zach because his Zach is actually in his username. That makes sense.
Zach's in my username too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Referring to you. I guess he just left. So.
So let's talk more about customers, maybe.
Yeah, that's a problem because, as I just said, I don't have customers. So it's just
You
you,
don't-
and
You
Dave.
don't have customers? What?
I don't sell out my teching service.
Why not? Tired of it? Even though you never tried, or?
I never tried. I don't have the time.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I've never tried doing it like professionally. Like I have a couple guys who come to me if they need me. I'm building monocle, a new lower for a high kappa. But I mean, unless you like come to me, especially with gas blowback stuff, I don't really do it professionally. I don't really have the time.
Yeah,
Hey,
it
you wanna
does
buy
take
my
a
high
lot of
kappa?
time. I guess he didn't say no to it, so it means yes.
You didn't say no, yeah. I'm about to post post the ad on Airsoft Classifieds for it.
I'm heading away to boarding school next Tuesday, so I'm not gonna have the time to do anything.
Oh wow.
Oh, sounds like you gotta get rid of the girlfriend then.
The
I heard
girlfriend
the word girlfriend. What happened?
No, he said he's not gonna have time for anything, so he needs to get rid of the girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you don't have time for anything, get rid of the girl.
Hey, remember that Marui I bought on eBay, the XDM?
No.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm back. Do we have a topic going, or are we?
WE.
yeah, we're
Currently,
kind
we're
of.
listening to State of the Game talk about girlfriends.
Oh lord.
Oh, sake, really, guys?
Are we talking about that again?
Yeah, I vote for a topic switch.
Okay, I'm trying to think of something.
How bad do you guys hate NiMH batteries? I have a 9-6 lane right beside me, and it's from way back when, and I just realized I hate this thing.
Yeah, I never
They're
use
the
them.
only ones I use.
I literally keep it. I wired it to Dean's. I use only XT60s. I wired it to Dean's, literally only to use on customers' guns, like when I had like stock guns and stuff.
I honestly don't hate them that much. I just grew out of them into lipos. I still have all my old ones. I just don't like that they can just go dead on you laying
Yeah.
on the bench. It's like, oh, randomly you pick it up, you charged it the day before. Oh, I'm gonna be dead now. You got to stick me on the charger and use me
makes me-
immediately after.
And it makes me think, where does all that energy go? Like, jeez.
That's how people get cancer. It just goes into the air.
You're gonna start rumors like that cell phone rumor. NiMH batteries give you cancer.
Only in California.
Everything gives you cancer in California.
Buy lipos; they don't give cancer.
Unfortunately, all of my nickel metal hydrides are dead from me not thinking to keep them charged.
Look at you being all fancy. You know what that NiMH stands for.
Well, it's fun to say nickel metal hydride.
Yeah, I say NiMH.
NiMHs give you cancer. Lipos just blow up.
And I've
Okay,
had
that's
people
kill you
say
somehow.
nickel or in NiMH, and I'll say nickel metal hydride, and they're like, "What's that?" It's like, it's the fun way of saying NiMH or whatever you're saying.
Okay, say if you know what those two stand for, what does LIFE stand for?
Life. It's lithium iron.
Yeah. Wait. Is
Yeah,
it?
Fe is
Yeah.
iron.
Okay, so it is a
Fe is iron.
capital Fa. Okay. Well, who
And
am I
no
kidding? There isn't
lipos
an
are
E.
not made out of plutonium.
There isn't an E. I don't believe in the periodic table. I'm not totally sure on that.
Yes,
Huh.
there is.
Yeah,
There is?
Fe is indeed iron.
Fe is iron, but I'm trying to remember what E is.
There's
Actually, think
nothing
that
that's
might
just
be-
E.
Actually, I think that might be one of the radioactive materials.
Yeah.
No, there's no periodic element that's just a single letter. They're all two letters.
And even if they
That's
were,
not true.
it wouldn't.
Yeah, potassium is K.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
That's
really?
not true in
Are
the
you serious?
slightest.
The only thing is that the E is lowercase, so it couldn't be anything by itself.
Well, yeah,
have
I
to look
couldn't
this up. I
remember
thought they
if
were
it
all
was-
two letters.
No, there isn't an E. The closest thing is erbium.
Well, even
Well,
if
you
there
know-
was, it's lowercase. So
Well, no, erbium is E lowercase r. But yeah, there's single letter.
Wow, I totally shit myself on that one. Yeah, there are single
Yes,
letters.
potassium,
There's
I
a
mean,
whole row of
hydrogen.
them.
Hydrogen is single letter. Carbon.
Boron,
boron.
carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, iodine,
that's
Yeah,
worth
I
getting
totally
what Brill is.
uranium.
Now, if we could see your teching skills.
You know what? There's a reason I never did very good in chemistry.
Gosh, I almost just exited out of this entire sales ad I've been writing whenever I need to exit out of that periodic table.
Pro tip: do those in like a Google Draft or something, and then just copy paste it over.
Well, I'm posting it on Facebook, so
Yeah,
I'm mostly copying it from my other ad in our local buy-sell trade. So
All right, so let's bring this back on some more topics. Any
Yeah,
other
no,
ideas?
NiMH batteries.
More of those?
I have a nickel metal hydride that I ordered from custom battery packs a long time ago, and I kind of intended it to be like my big 11.1 LiPo. I actually think it puts out some similar similar powers to the 11.1s that I have. So it's a 3800 sub C cell 10.4 volts, 10.8 volts.
10.8.
Yeah, 10.8 volt not lipo, nickel metal hydride. It weighs 1.2 or 1.3 pounds,
They're so
Wow.
freaking heavy too. That's the other bad thing about them.
and it wouldn't fit in a single thing I own. It's like I just spent $38 on this battery, and got it in the wrong configuration, and it's huge, like almost C cells or C-sized cells, and there's 9. And
Well, to be perfectly fair, in IMH market, like aside from your normal stock crap and stuff that you pick up from Airsoft stores, the Airsoft Elite site, I think it was NiMH, turned me onto them when I first got on Airsoft Society. They're a little bit more expensive, but those suckers did not die for the longest time, and I like abused them on several occasions, and they still wouldn't die.
everybody's home.
I guess you must not have put a fork through them.
No, don't tend to do that.
That's the kind of abuse they need, right?
Well, like both of them, I clipped both wires at the same time. One of them I shorted out multiple times by accident, and I think the other one I consistently ran like to the point where it wouldn't turn the thing over on my first DMR setup, which was an M150 on a 13-to-1, and that sucker turned over with a 9.6 and promptly died. It got hot, but it didn't die from that. I shorted it out too many times, and it eventually bit the dust. But for the longest time, those things were unkillable, and they lasted forever.
I like that word, unkillable. It's a good word.
Only unkillable till I find
My-
a bigger hammer.
My teching skills are unkillable.
Yeah.
Well, before I actually started snipping and kept the stock connectors on them, and I never ran them dead in the field, which is impressive for for those nickel batteries.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I remember when I first decided I'm not going to use them anymore. I charged one for 8 hours, and I think it was 8 hours, or was it 4 hours? I can't remember. I went to the field, supposed to be fully charged. I pulled the trigger, and it's like as if the battery's dead.
Yeah.
Right then and then, I was like, okay, I'm just going to lipo. I'm not dealing with the charging this shit, and it doesn't, and the battery's just dead. I mean, because
I remember I was like a complete retard when it came to lipos, because like you know how they have that second balancing port. I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna have to convert everything I have to that little white plug, not realizing that they have the big plug next to them.
Oh wow.
So I got my first lipo in, and I had Zard wire up my first harness because at that point I was like soldering. Nope. I'm like, guys, it has a big red thing on it, and my lipo has a big little white thing on it. What do I do? I felt so stupid afterwards.
So you didn't even notice that, like, the third wire or the fourth wire?
That's what I said. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, I plug in the white. The other one doesn't matter. I don't know.
You weren't thinking, you mean?
Yeah.
It's just there. It's just hanging out.
Yeah. And then he had wired to Dean's, and the battery was wired something weird, I forget. Or maybe, it was wired to XT60s. That's right, it was wired to XT60s. Yeah, and thus became the XT60 guy.
XT60s.
XT60 Master Race.
I hate those things.
Well, you know what? Screw you, because XT60 Master Race.
Did you see in one of their man, it's not even late and I'm already forgetting stuff. Airsoft Tech podcasts, they did an XT60 versus Dean's, and one of the points that I don't remember which was arguing for which, it was kind of a while ago. One of the points was that if you take your gun to a field that has a lot of people who have upgraded guns, then if you use XT60, no one can borrow your batteries.
Yes, that's always
true.
one of my major things, because like I run these massive batteries that cost like $40, and I really don't want to loan those out. Not to mention it would probably kill half the guns I would lend it to.
But that's the point, though. Just tell them it'll make their gun work like magic, and
It'll make it explode into flames.
That's the thing. It's either like lipos or either the end all for, oh, I'm going to buy this gun and to make it better, I will put an 11.1 volt lipo in it, and that's it. Or they're the terrifying nuclear explosion that happens to every single gun you pull the trigger once with it on.
You know,
It's
this
like-
is one reason I don't use AEGs, is because I don't want to have to deal with A, stuff blowing up, B, stuff melting, or C, electrical stuff. Like, with my gas rifle, if gas is leaking, I know gas is leaking.
technically gas rifles can still blow up.
I'm going to say they actually,
Propane.
no matter how slim the chance of the proper air to propane ratio is to be achieved, it could still, through some Murphy's Law freak accident, happen.
Well,
I think.
but let me just at
Plus
least
or
with that,
minus some black magic.
at least with that, like, there's metal. Like, it's not gonna blow up in it. But if a lipo blows up,
Yeah, when it blows up, there'll be shrapnel. Oh yeah, that's way better. Why didn't I think of that?
propane, that little propane won't explode with a high enough PSI to destroy a metal body enough where there's shrapnel.
Yeah, probably not. But hey.
Yeah, but what if it's in your pocket or on your strapped to your back in a backpack and
A lipo's gonna do even worse if it's in your pocket. It'll melt through your leg.
Why would you carry lipos in your pocket?
Because you're an idiot. I don't know.
I've
Well,
seen
at that point, you're asking for it.
I've seen people
Like, hey,
they
how
have
can I make it easy for evolution to kill me today?
I've
I
seen
know, I'll
people
carry
with-
lipos in my pocket.
I've seen people with an AEP and they have a big ass lipo in their pocket, and there's a wire going from the AEP going to their pocket. It's like, oh wow, okay, that's
That's actually kind of awesome.
that's how you got your AEP to be badass. But
At what cost?
yeah.
I mean,
Your leg.
like how much trouble is it to
Wait till
just
you
buy?
see fire coming out of their ass. I mean, literally see fire coming out of their ass.
Just buy like a cheap, $10 Eagle pouch off eBay that you can put on your belts and put it in that instead.
I guess.
It's a little bit further away from your bare thigh.
But couldn't you
Or your
also just
family
like,
jewel.
couldn't you just put some short protection in there, some fuses and stuff like that, so you're more likely not to have that happen?
Fuses? Who uses fuses? Fuses are for wussies.
Well, you,
I
Delete all
use
fuses.
you don't
Delete
have
all-
to use old fuses. There's different types of fuses.
I was gonna say you could use a PVC fuse.
Yeah, there's like
The arts fence have those.
there's two types of fuses. Fuses for wussies and fuses for wussies. Those are the two types.
Well, then there's
This is
fuses
one I
and
don't bother
MOSFETs.
to age use.
Oh yeah, that's the different. That's the fuses for wussies one.
What, MOSFETs?
Lipos exploding in your pocket. Reminds me of that clip. Gosh, this is kind of an old reference, but to that old YouTube video where that SWAT guy had a flashbang grenade go off in his pants,
Oh,
where
man.
they were breaching into a building and he had pulled the pin on the grenade, but held the spoon to throw in there. Well, it ended up not being as volatile a situation as they had expected, and they secured it before he actually threw the grenade into it. And so he put the pin back into the grenade and put it in his pants pocket, and
No,
did
no,
not
no, no, no,
properly put the pin back into the grenade. A flashbang is a whole lot different than a thunder bee.
Yeah,
I mean, those things can
those will
Flashbangs
burn.
knock you
explode.
out.
Yeah, like
Yeah, those
they-
things will burn you.
Okay, so
So-
which pocket did he have it in? Because
He
his-
put it in his right front pocket. On
I was gonna
And
say
when
that.
When it went, the person who was recording it, jumped, and it blew out. Like it blew out all down the side of his pants.
It blew balls.
It
Oh, I
didn't
don't think
hit
it's
there.
that ball
It hit the
outside.
side of his thigh was where it hit. You know, because I'm assuming because the pants he was wearing were tactical pants, so it had the deep pockets that kind of goes down your leg, and so he didn't get hit. You know, in the most
Important
painful
part.
area. Yeah.
Well,
But
no, no.
if I remember correctly, it did leave some pretty nasty burns down his leg.
It's
Yeah.
a good thing he wasn't running an AEP with a big battery,
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure that would have been a whole lot worse than a flashbang.
Or good thing he didn't have a can of green gas in his pocket.
Left side explodes, right side explodes.
Well,
You know,
now I'm a
I've taken-
quad
I've taken,
paraplegic.
I've taken a tornado grenade to the groin, and that's unfortunate, especially because I was in like tack pants and underwear, and that was it.
You were cool until you said underwear, like tack pants, yeah, and underwear. Oh,
But like that hurt a lot, and that gave me welts in all sorts of nasty places. Well, first of all, the idiot put .12s in there, so they all shattered on impact.
Oh
So
god.
the shrapnel was fun. There were people putting metal BBs in. I'm just lucky I didn't get one of those guys.
Oh, that's criminal. You can't put that. You can't put those in there. Come on.
I know. There's a team that plays at my fields that
It's
is
a
trying.
GMR team.
No,
Tell me it's GMR.
no, it's not. It's just these awful.
I just want another
their
reason to hate
guns chrono
GMR.
Way over. Guns chrono way over. They use ludicrously high power stuff. They use metal. It's absurd, and no one. They're banned from all the fields, but only as a team.
Oh,
So, like-
individuals still show up.
If 7 out of 8 of them show up, that's fine. Because it goes against Field's policy to ban individuals because
What?
of team actions.
oh, that's bullshit.
No,
Yeah,
well, to ban individuals because of team actions.
That team just hit my ball sack. You can't ban them?
Oh no, no. The ones with the metal BBs got banned, but technically, they didn't do anything wrong. I was breaching a building, one of them threw a tornado. It was unfortunate, but they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, okay, that's a little bit different than what I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
someone was making metal BBs and aiming for ball sacks, just...
They were, yeah.
We gotta get rid of some players, man. We don't want them on the field.
I remember there was a guy and he ran a Polar Star DMR, and it was an SR-25, and he used .96 metal BBs in it, and he
What
stuck
the
them in.
freak?
Wait, what? They actually make those?
Probably
They're-
custom.
They're for hunting small game.
I've heard of .66s. I've never heard of a .96.
These
That's
are
really like a
metal.
1 gram
Metal.
BB.
These
They're
are metal.
Yeah, I've heard
Uh,
of metal .66s, and I think metal .88
No,
maybe.
no. Metal .96s.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. That's literally like, that's basically a gram right there. A gram a BB.
Yeah, exactly. And he was running them out of his Polestar, and apparently he snuck them in, and I kid you, he sewed them into his collar.
Wow.
Because he was
That's
one
desperate.
of the guys from Black Door team, which is the guys that got banned. And he snuck them in his collar because they had to check him. All of him. All his pockets, everything. So he got up in a tree and just started plinking at players with this Polar Star. Oh my god. I took one to the shoulder. To the back of my shoulder.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Oh, it went in. It penetrated it. Guy got arrested.
Good.
Yeah.
That's about the best way that could have ended.
But
Can somebody calculate the joules on that? Because that's gonna be like 10, 11 joules at least.
it's absurd. It feels like you're getting hit with rock salt.
Yeah. Well, it basically is.
It's like getting hit with rock salt.
Do you have any idea
Yeah.
that what the FPS he was doing?
I doubt it.
Well, it wasn't. It was like 500, 600.
With a .2?
With a .97.
Wait, what? Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
I don't-
what?
How could that be
Hooked it up
possible
to a
with a
CO2
Polish?
tank. CO2, not HPA. Jacked one of the
But
regs.
still, doing 500 with a 1 gram BB, that's like it's over 9,000. I mean, not actually, but
Over 9,000.
it's not actually over 9,000, but that's,
Yeah, I mean that's.
Oh my
that's
God,
kinda,
over
I don't even know
9,000.
if the Polar Star is capable of pushing out that much
Actually,
Hey.
unless you modify
it is. It is actually
You know,
possible to do
yeah.
in the Polestar.
You know what? I don't know, but yeah, he got arrested. I don't know what ended up, but
yeah, I hope he got banned from every field ever.
oh, he's in jail.
Oh, okay, good. I hope he
He
stays
got
there.
jail time. Yeah,
He
that's
can enjoy
considered,
dropping that soap.
that's considered assault with a deadly weapon. At that point.
Something kind of up that same alley that happened at a local field was apparently somebody. Really? Did he get kicked out again? I don't know.
I just got a thingamajig, and I'm getting more thingamajigs.
No, that's me and Bert talking.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna mute my phone.
There was
Raven
somebody-
says he'll be in about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell him we'll be done
Somebody
in
had a,
19
Thunder
minutes.
Thunderbeat
Yeah.
that they had. It was just a normal flashbang shell Thunderbeat, but 2 weeks before the game they had pissed in the shell, and then sealed up the grenade and kept it for 2 weeks, and then threw it at somebody.
Oh God. Reminded
So,
me asking
that-
about this
there's-
earlier.
I think he got arrested too. Pretty sure. I think there was a spat for that.
This is
Okay.
terrible. People doing shit like that.
Maybe I shouldn't have listed offer away as far as trades go on this classified
You
group.
get some weird stuff for trades.
Well, I mean, I
I
just
mean,
got
like
this.
the joke always is you get offered everybody's combat machine. Oh no, you get way worse than that.
Oh yeah.
You can even say, "Do not offer me XYZ," and you will get, "Hey, I know you said don't offer you this, but I have this, and you kind of want it. I know you do."
Well, I mean, I never really sell stuff, so I don't. You know, it's not like I have ads everywhere that I have to keep track of all this stuff. I'm just selling these 2 pistols, so it's not really a big deal for me to get a few notifications.
I like, excuse me, I like to toss out. You can offer trades just in the hope that I'll find something like really rare or weird or something unique that they want to give me, but I haven't found that happen yet.
Mine is in the hope that I'll find something that I want.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
there you
it's not like I'm looking for crazy stuff. I'm just like this guy just sent me some cell phone pic of.
Yeah, okay. Stop now.
Cell phone pic.
Give me a second.
Must have been a hot cell phone pic.
opposite depending on how this goes.
Oh yeah.
You know my TM Glock that I'm trying to sell?
Kind of.
I had a guy, I kid you not, so a buddy of mine put it up on the Facebook forum for me. I had a buddy of mine offer me a wind gun non-blowback CO2 1911 and 4 mags with a custom-made top rail, an NC Star red dot, and an NC Star soft holster for it.
Wow.
The soft holster just, that's a deal breaker. No
Yeah.
thanks.
Don't. I had a soft holster once. It was Condor. I think I explained everything
Okay, to continue on.
about
Blurred
that
cell
cell
phone.
phone pick.
Yeah, the cell phone pick, and it's an M4. It looks like with a Mo front end. Then another gun with another M4 with just. There's no distinguishing what the heck these things are, what brand they are, and then an AUG with a Neotech.
What's a
on it.
Mo front end?
MOE.
MOE.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
wondering that too, and I figured MO.
Yeah, I
oh,
just
must
said
be
that for
Mo.
some reason. I'm normally a stickler for saying out those things too. I don't normally
like-
say AUG. I'll say AUG, but
Like the PRS stock, what do you call that?
PRS stock.
Oh, okay.
A precision rifle stock?
I was gonna
I
say
mean, I figured if we
don't
were going to
think
go
isn't
to
in-
MOE to Mo, it'd be like the purse stock.
No, I'm not
need to
one
get
to
mine
say
now.
that. The only thing you'll catch me saying that on is the FAMAS. And that's because it's just annoying to say FAMAS every time
Wait,
you
that's
want
an acronym?
Dude,
I would assume
everything
so.
is an acronym.
Every gun name is typically an acronym, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
AR.
M4 is probably an acronym.
Well, see, that the M stuff might actually be,
Dude.
your
Dude,
designation numbers.
Dude, you've
Yeah.
made me question reality.
What is reality?
I never knew FAMAS
What
was
is acronym?
You sure
Oh
you weren't?
gosh!
You sure you
Why
weren't
am I
shot
getting
in the head?
notifications at the wazoo now?
Yeah, I'm getting those.
Probably were shot in the head too, instead of the back.
Okay, so the second picture is a black Condor MOPC. I can recognize that.
you.
And the third one is what looks to be based on the gearbox, a JG M4 with the wires cut off of it and the upper and lower receiver separated.
Of course.
And then it's not even that he sent me all that weird stuff. It's that he just sent the pictures. He didn't send any words describing what anything is. Just
Didn't describe jack.
it's like, here is this very dark and pixely picture. Do you want anything in here? Have fun guessing between KWA and a GMP.
May not even be his stuff. He may just be taking pictures.
Just grab in
Okay.
off the internet.
Offer these trades. Make sure you ship first. That's what he's gonna want.
I love those guys that are like, I ship first always, regardless. It's like, wait. That's not
Yeah,
really how it
no.
works.
No, you don't.
A quick question. I have a feeling they don't. Does Elite Force 1911 mags, are they team spec?
No. No, they're
that's what I
KWC spec though.
Oh, they are. Okay, I thought
think
they
so,
were
yeah.
Elite Force proprietary.
No, Elite Force is KWC.
Okay, well, the guy
Well,
offered
Elite
me
Force,
some
like,
some
rebranded
1911 Elite Force magazines for it. I actually would take that if it's compatible.
They're pretty good mags, actually. Like, they're pretty good guns in general. They're solid, but they're fairly... Like, it doesn't feel like super high-quality metal, but they're solid guns, and they'll shoot when you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Until break.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to break. They're not super special performance, but they're not going to break on you.
Yeah. Pretty much every local person that's gotten one has a complaint about them, reliability-wise.
Well, the
Really?
reason
Yeah. I mean, at least around me, not many people bought them because most people knew better, but just not very good results locally.
the reason I'm looking for the 1911 mags is because I got that, the Tokyo Marui Night Stalker 1911, and how I was waiting on my PX4. Has anyone seen my little rant and swum?
Something about it being out of stock and no rain checks on back orders or something.
Yeah, they suddenly just sent me a refund for it without any kind of email or anything. Just
Wow, that sucks.
here's your refund.
Now, the good
And-
thing would be if the gun showed up on your doorstep tomorrow. I mean,
doubt
that's not going to
happening.
happen, but that'd be pretty cool.
And I called them and asked, before I even mentioned that situation, I said, will you be getting the Tokyo Marui PX4 back in stock at any point in time? And because I didn't want them to know, that I was looking for that back order at the time. And the lady said, we might be, I'm not totally sure. But they're not discontinued. And then I followed up with, well, then why was I refunded?
Oh,
The thing is, I could have gone with it a whole lot harder, but I just kind of gave in because I did get a good deal on the 1911, and I don't feel like fighting with people over junk like that aren't, face to face. Because basically, what can I do at this point? I can't go on PayPal and say, hey, these people gave me money, I'm ticked off. That doesn't work. I can't dispute a refund as far as I know. So,
No, I want my product.
yeah, and I have an email directly from Airsoft Extreme from almost a month ago at this point that says we will place it on back order for you. After they, sent me the email saying we're out of stock and we'll go ahead and ship the 1911, I responded, will you place it on back order for me? And they replied yes. And then I asked about how long do they normally take, and they said between 1 to 2 months. And then suddenly 20-something days later, I just get a refund.
Well, that's
And,
unfortunate.
the lady on the phone just said, well, it was some kind of miscommunication. I'm like, yeah, well, normally
Sure.
miscommunication doesn't end up with the customer frustrated, it's not the business frustrated. It's like,
Well, no-
I'm eating your
normally
miscommunication.
normally a miscommunication doesn't end up with the customer and their money back.
Yeah, that's not usual either.
Normally, miscommunication means you got a product you didn't want. Miscommunication doesn't normally mean you got your money back.
Well, a miscommunication shouldn't put the customer in the ditch. The business should be the one that has to do something if they have a miscommunication. But instead, I'm the one who has to eat it because all of a sudden the PX4 that I got for ridiculously cheap, I'm not getting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I can just go anywhere else and order a PX4 for $119.
They probably
Yeah.
couldn't get it anywhere anymore for
eBay.
that price, so that's why they
eBay.
refunded you.
What's eHobby looking at for a TMPX4?
I don't know.
If they ran out of those, they probably looked at their new listing and was like, well, this is more expensive, and we're not going to ask him to give us more money for the same product that he bought, supposedly. So, I mean, in that case, if that's actually the case, and they got new stock that was a different list price, that was probably the best option for
Yeah.
them, honestly.
That was probably them refunding.
It was the best option for a business that
You
doesn't care
can
about
get
the customer.
a
Yeah.
Tokyo Marui PX4. Gas
I mean,
blowback.
their options were care about their business or care about their reputation, and they chose care about
They're
their business.
132 on eHobby.
So
Just checking, we're talking about Airsplat here?
we're talking about Airsoft Extreme.
Airsoft Extreme.
Well,
That is
what could have
the-
happened is the volume of orders that they got, their system didn't process that the item was over-ordered. So you could have just ended up, your order, unfortunately, was past the number of stock, and their website didn't update properly. So now they're sitting there, they only have 10 guns, 30 people ordered, and now they got to decide, all right, who's going to get the guns? How are we going to tell the people who didn't get their
Yeah.
place
See,
order?
that, I
on
actually
that?
considered that when I was buying it, and that I was completely fine with. What I'm not completely fine with is them then telling me that they'll put it on back order for me.
Yeah, for
And then
20
20
days.
days later, with my money in their wallets, suddenly I get it back. I mean,
Well, it's kind of like the scenario that we talked about. If they got more stock or the list price went up, then, I mean, a business isn't going to come back and ask you for additional money for a product that you already bought because things changed internally. That would be kind of weird. So,
well, no, because it was a flash sale. It was a sale that only
then they probably
lasted
just
20
ran
days.
out of stock.
Yeah.
well, if it's
but
a
instead of-
sale, then they should be on the hook because they sold it to you at a special price that's not a changing list price.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I bought it for $118.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know it was a sale price. Then yeah, that's them.
yeah, and what happened was I got the back order email, and I was fine with waiting for, months. I could wait a few months for Tokyo Marui PX4 for $118. Heck yeah. But then when I talked on the phone, the lady informed me that they do not do back orders on flash sales. So they had a miscommunication within their own business, and I had to eat it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they did the smart thing for them because they got to, not give it to me for a cheaper price. But they did a bad thing for the reputation because I will now tell people that they're obviously more caring about their money than their customers.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's a trade-off. You have a business, you can make your customers eat it a few times. You can get away with it if you have enough money coming in and you're actually getting a benefit from it, which is saving more money. But there's a layover point at which you make enough people frustrated, like Airsoft Megastore and Airsplat did at this point in their careers, that you start to lose money because everyone is talking bad about you, and so no one wants to buy from you.
Is it just me, or did Airsplat hit a really big quality snag, and it just killed their reputation?
I think that's what happened. It was something like 2 or 3 years ago that got it really bad. I don't really know, and then now you have people who haven't kept up to date with them or ordered anything from them for the past few years who still badmouth them, whereas everything I've heard about them for the past year or so has been great. So, and I've ordered stuff from them, and it's been fine.
I've ordered stuff from them, no problem, recently as well.
But you still have people who aren't willing to give them a chance again, badmouth.
Yeah, I never ordered from them back in the day because of all the bad, and then they had something I needed for cheap, so I was like, all right, I'm going to wager this and see what happens, and it turned out to be perfectly fine.
That's exactly what I had. I needed a G3 mid-caps, and no one else had G3 mid-caps, so I bought them from Airsplat.
They had a fly plate carrier for much less than it would be to import it and the list price at other sites.
That's surprising. Normally, when Airsoft stores carry fly, it's for marked up crazy. So
I think it was $90 for a 6094.
Okay, so you guys want me to tell you my Airsplat story?
Go right ahead.
Yes.
So I've had a couple of them, but I'm gonna tell you the last one. The kind of the last one's the more entertaining. So I was getting a second HK G36 from Aries, I think it was, right? So I ordered it. It was a little cheaper than usual because they were trying to get rid of them. They didn't like that model and brand for whatever reason. So I get it in the mail. I open it up, and I noticed the box was different. I noticed the gun was different because I bought my first one from them, so I knew exactly what it was supposed to look like, right? And I've gone through the reviews and everything. I knew exactly what gun it's supposed to be, but same gun, same purchase, not same gun. And so I look at it and I realize it's a KWA G36. And I'm like, I don't want a KWA. I want the Aries one that I want because it's got better externals and I can make it work better for me. And I'm like, I hate this. This is bad. So I email them. They say, well, we gave you an HK Aries G36. And I said, no, this is a KWA. And I clearly showed them the video. Here's the first one I ordered from you, is an Aries G36. Here's what I have today. This is a KWA G36. I said, look at them. They look almost the same because they're both black. But when you start showing them the externals and everything,
they look the same because they're black.
Yeah.
All right.
You show the externals and they're not the same. You could start taking apart and they both disassemble differently. So they're not the same. So I got into I called up their manager. I think it was one of their managers, and they said, okay, they'll go ahead and ship me the correct gun, and I ship back this gun. Fine. So I get the correct gun, and I get an email about, okay, we need to check up something about they need to make sure what was wrong on their end or my end. And I was stating that they had the wrong product. They were giving the wrong product away. So a few weeks after that, after I wrote that in on the email, because you're supposed to state the reason why this RMA process went through. A few weeks after that, I get an email back, and I read it, and it says, we're sorry, but you were mistaken. You got the Aries HK G36C and not the KWA. And I was like, are you kidding me? After, a couple weeks went by, I clearly made a video, and I clearly stated and showed, and you still couldn't figure out that you sent me the wrong gun? I mean, weeks later, you still couldn't tell? that it was a KWA you sent me, I mean, you're losing about 15, 20 bucks difference because that's how much more the KWA costs. But I don't like the KWA, so why would I keep it? You know, if anything, I was going to say I should have kept it and sold it to somebody else. You know, sell it back to you or something. I don't know.
Sell it back to you. Yeah.
Well, like
I couldn't believe it.
It sounds like their system thought that you bought a KWA.
I didn't buy a KWA. I bought the exact same product. The exact same product I already bought a month later. The exact same link, and it was a KWA.
A KWA is all you need.
Well, their system probably screwed it up where you ordered the right one, but they like somehow.
But when you check back in the warehouse, when you get the product back, oh, this is not the same gun. This is a KWA. Like 2 weeks later, they send me an email saying you were wrong. The customer's wrong. Like, how is the customer wrong? How's the customer wrong? He makes a video, and 2 weeks later, he's still wrong somehow, even though you sent him the right gun the second time.
I think obviously what you were trying to do is screw over air splat, and they just can't let you do that, Zach. That's obviously what happened here.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? They just don't happen to like me anymore.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, really.
After you tried to screw him over.
Oh,
Jeez,
you
come
called
on.
us out on something we did wrong. Screw you.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy an M4 and then I'm gonna buy a KWA M4 and say it's a KWA. It's supposed to be a regular M4. Give me my JG M4. I don't want a KWA. Damn it.
Hey Milsim, if we're gonna do any insurgency, might as well do it now.
Alright.
So that means I am signing off from this place of awesomeness.
It's almost 9 o'clock anyway, so I'm gonna stop the Twitch.
Cool.
So they're gonna say we could just stop the Twitch and stay in here as long as Zach go to the mine.
Yeah, that's
I'd
fine.
love to stay in here.
Get shot to death
So, yeah.
and jump.
Poor Bert, though. We decided to turn it off right when he gets here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only ordered one thing from Airsplat, and it was that. Well, I made one order. I got some patches, that plate carrier, and I think something else. But one of those patches got me a Mad Bull suppressor, so I kind of like Airsplat. It's like something ethical about their patches.
That's a good enough reason for you.
Yeah.